Not dramatically. Not with a thunderclap or a spotlight or a dramatic musical swell. Just quietly. Subtly. The way the atmosphere shifts before a storm that hasn't arrived yet, that particular stillness where something inside you registers that what is about to happen is different from everything that came before it. That moment happened in the Dodgers clubhouse just before the season opener. Nobody was expecting it. That is the first thing you need to understand. Players prepare for opening day in their own ways, some loud, some quiet, some lost in headphones and pre-game routines that have been locked in for years. The clubhouse before Game 1 carries a specific kind of energy, equal parts excitement and nerves and the particular weight of a fresh beginning where everything is still possible and nothing has gone wrong yet. And then Shohei Ohtani walked in. Not to take his position at his locker. Not to run through his pre-game preparation sequence. He walked in carrying something. Several somethings, actually. Boxes. Carefully wrapped, intentional, unmistakable in the way that only one category of gift can be unmistakable. What happened next stopped every conversation in that room. What happened next produced reactions that were captured, shared, and watched by millions of people across the world who had never set foot inside a baseball stadium and couldn't name a single player on that roster, but who watched that video and felt something move inside them anyway. What happened next was, by every reasonable definition of the word, completely unprecedented. Shohei Ohtani gave every single person on his team a luxury watch. Not a bonus. Not a team dinner. Not a motivational speech or a framed photo or any of the 1,000 gestures that professional athletes make toward each other in moments of celebration or gratitude. A luxury watch. For everyone. Before a single pitch of the new season had been thrown. And the world has not been the same since. Picture the Dodgers clubhouse on opening day morning. This is not a modest space. The Los Angeles Dodgers are one of the most storied franchises in baseball history, and their facilities reflect that. The clubhouse is wide, bright, and carries the particular energy of a place where serious people take seriously important things seriously. Lockers line the walls with the kind of careful organization that speaks to men who understand that preparation is not a side activity, it is the main event. Players move through this space in their own orbits. Some are loud, filling the room with music and conversation and the easy laughter of men who have spent hundreds of hours together. Some are quiet, already mentally somewhere else, running through at-bats that haven't happened yet against pitchers they have studied until the footage plays behind their eyes without prompting. Everyone has their routine. Everyone has their corner of the preparation process they guard carefully because it works and they know it works and they are not willing to let anything disrupt it. Then Ohtani moved through the center of that room with boxes in his hands. The conversations didn't stop all at once. It happened gradually, the way silence spreads through a space when something commanding attention enters it. One player noticed. Then the player next to him. Then the small group near the training room doorway. Then the far corner where the veterans sit. Within 30 seconds, everyone was watching. He didn't make a speech first. He didn't call for attention or tap a glass or clear his throat with the self-consciousness of someone who has prepared remarks. He simply began distributing the boxes, moving from locker to locker, from player to player, with a quiet intention that made the gesture feel both enormously significant and completely natural at the same time. Like this was simply what you do. Like gifting your entire team luxury watches before the season opener was the most obvious expression of something he had been feeling for a long time and had finally found the right moment to say. There is a specific expression that appears on a person's face when they receive something they were not prepared to receive. It is not simple happiness. Happiness is straightforward, the corners of the mouth, the brightness in the eyes, the uncomplicated pleasure of a moment going well. What appears on a person's face when they receive something unexpected and meaningful is more complex than that. It is happiness layered over surprise, layered over a kind of disbelief that takes several seconds to process into something coherent. That expression appeared on every face in that room. Veterans who have played 15 seasons in the major leagues and thought they had seen every version of every moment this sport produces, that expression appeared on their faces. Younger players who were living the reality of their first or second opening day, still adjusting to the scale of what it means to be here, that expression appeared on their faces too. Equipment staff, coaches, the people who work inside that building every single day and whose names never appear on a lineup card but whose presence makes everything function, they had it too. Because Ohtani had not forgotten anyone. That detail, the completeness of the gesture, the fact that nobody was left out, is the detail that separated this from a generous act and placed it in a category that doesn't have a clean name yet. Most gifts flow in expected directions. Stars give to stars. Veterans acknowledge veterans. The visible acknowledge the visible. That is how it has always worked, in sports and in most other places where hierarchies exist. Ohtani looked at the hierarchy and quietly declined to honor it. Every person in that building received a box. Every person opened it to find the same thing, a timepiece that communicated, without a single word being spoken, that the man handing it to them saw them. Not their statistics. Not their contract value. Not their place in the batting order or their spot on the organizational depth chart. Them. There is a reason that watches carry a specific weight as a gift that most objects simply cannot replicate. A watch is not decorative in the way that most gifts are decorative. It is not something you place on a shelf and look at occasionally and remember warmly and never truly integrate into your daily existence. A watch goes on your body. It becomes part of how you move through your days, present at the important moments, present at the ordinary ones, keeping time through all of it without asking for anything in return. When someone gives you a watch, they are giving you something that will be with you. Not just today or this week or for the duration of the season. It will be with you when this team is long dispersed and everyone has moved on to the next chapter of their careers. It will be with you when the specific memory of this opening day has softened at the edges and blurred into the general warm feeling of a season that mattered. You will look at your wrist at some ordinary moment, not a game-winning hit, not a championship celebration, just an ordinary Tuesday when nothing significant is happening, and the watch will be there. And you will remember. Ohtani understood this when he chose what to give. He was not thinking about the moment of opening the box, though that moment was extraordinary. He was thinking about all the moments after. The quiet Tuesday moments when the gift would still be present, still communicating, still saying the thing he wanted to say. You are part of something real. I see you. I am grateful you are here. Now pull back from the clubhouse. Pull back from the warm room with the open boxes and the faces that hadn't quite figured out what expression to settle on yet. Pull back to the rest of the world. Because the rest of the world was watching. The clip moved across platforms with the velocity that only the truly resonant things achieve, not because an algorithm pushed it, not because a brand promoted it, but because human beings saw it and immediately needed the people they cared about to see it too. It crossed language barriers without effort. It landed in countries where baseball is barely played, where the rules of the sport are a mystery and the players are unknown, where the context of an opening day gift from a team's best player to his roster should have meant nothing to anyone. It meant something anyway. The comments that poured in from overseas fans, from people in countries that have no stake in the MLB season, no rooting interest in the Dodgers, no reason to care about any of this beyond the pure human content of the moment, those comments told the real story. From Japan, he became the best player in the world and he never forgot that baseball is a team. This is who he has always been. From Brazil, I don't follow baseball but I watched this 5 times. Something about it just gets you. From the Philippines, my father wore a watch his whole life that a mentor gave him when he was young. He said it reminded him every day that someone believed in him. I think these players will feel that too. From Germany, this is not a sports story. This is a human story. This is what it looks like when someone succeeds and doesn't lose themselves. From South Korea, in a world where everything is about individual achievement, he looked at the people around him and said, "You matter." That is rarer than any home run. These were not baseball fans analyzing a roster move. These were human beings recognizing something they had not expected to find in a sports clip on a Tuesday morning, a genuine, unperformed act of gratitude from someone who had every reason to be consumed entirely by his own story and chose instead to make room for everyone else's. To understand why Ohtani did this, you have to understand something about how he moves through the world that statistics will never capture and highlight reels will never fully show. He has spoken, in rare moments of openness, about what team means to him. Not team in the abstract motivational sense that gets printed on locker room walls. Team in the specific, concrete sense, the actual people, with their actual lives, who show up to the same building every morning and collectively attempt something that none of them could accomplish alone. He thinks about them not as supporting cast in his own story. As people with their own stories, their own pressures, their own reasons for being here that have nothing to do with him. The equipment manager who arrives 3 hours before anyone else to make sure everything is ready. The bullpen catcher who receives hundreds of pitches every week and whose name most fans could not tell you. The rookie who is navigating the terrifying experience of realizing that this dream he worked his entire life to reach is also the hardest thing he has ever done. The veteran in the final years of a long career who is quietly aware that every season now might be the last one. Ohtani sees all of them. He has always seen all of them. Former teammates from his earliest days in professional baseball describe the same quality, this specific attentiveness to the people around him that exists completely separately from his athletic gifts. The way he remembers details from conversations weeks later. The way he asks follow-up questions. The way he treats the person who washes the uniforms with the same genuine interest he brings to conversations with coaches and front office executives. This is not performance. It is not the calculated generosity of a public figure managing his image. It predates the fame. It predates the MLB career, the historic seasons, the global celebrity. It was present when he was a teenager in Japan eating boiled eggs before practice and dreaming of a future that most people around him couldn't quite visualize yet. The watches were not a new version of Shohei Ohtani. They were the original version, expressing itself in a way that matched the scale of where his life has arrived. The word was used immediately. Reporters used it. Analysts used it. Fans used it in comment sections across every platform where the story landed. Unprecedented. But it is worth pausing on what that word actually means in this context. Because it is not unprecedented that wealthy athletes give gifts to teammates. That has happened before. It is not unprecedented that a star player acknowledges the people around him. Gestures of team solidarity are as old as team sports themselves. What is unprecedented is the combination of things that happened in that clubhouse. The scale, everyone, without exception, without hierarchy. The timing, before the season, before any result had been earned, before any justification existed beyond the simple fact of shared purpose. The object, not a dinner that ends, not a bonus that gets deposited and absorbed into the general flow of financial life, but a physical object that travels through time with the person who receives it. And underneath all of that, the spirit. The complete absence of transaction in it. There was nothing Ohtani needed from this gesture. He is already the highest paid player in baseball history. He is already the most famous athlete on the planet. He gains nothing from the goodwill of his equipment staff or his backup outfielders that he does not already have in abundance. He did it because he wanted to. Because the people in that room are real to him. Because gratitude, for Ohtani, is not a feeling you wait to express until the right ceremonial moment arrives, it is something you act on when you feel it, with whatever you have available, in whatever form makes sense. He felt it before the season opener. He acted on it. And the world watched and remembered what it looks like when someone reaches the very top of their field and discovers that the view from up there only means something when you share it. The watches are on wrists now. The season opener has been played. The long grind of a 162-game season has begun its slow, relentless march toward October. But something was established in that clubhouse before any of it started. Something that doesn't appear in the box score and won't be reflected in the standings and cannot be measured by any analytical framework the sport has developed. A tone. A standard. A quiet declaration about what kind of team this is and what kind of person its best player is and what the people inside that building can expect from him across the months ahead. Not just home runs. Not just historic statistics. Not just the two-way brilliance that has made him the most discussed player in the sport's history. Presence. Attention. Gratitude expressed in the specific, concrete, unforgettable language of a luxury watch placed in the hands of every single person in the room. Overseas fans who have never watched a full baseball game wept in their comment sections over a sports clip on a Tuesday morning. That is the story. Not the watches. The fact that a man at the absolute peak of human athletic achievement still moves through the world like someone who knows that the peak only matters because of the people who helped him climb. That smile before the pitch. These watches before the season. Shohei Ohtani is not just playing baseball. He is showing us something about what it means to be a person. And the whole world is paying attention.